Hello again, it's Frank Hughes. I was going to talk today about, we prepped the wood. It's all nice and prepped. It's sanded inside and out. Any repairs have been done, or have been done. So now what we're going to do here is it's prepped, cleaned, and then now we're going to put on a piece of Tolex. And I'm going to do this probably in pieces. When I mean pieces, I'm talking about the video, but I do want to show the first part is you're having a deal with a slope and you want the pattern to match. I've used the analogy of putting up wallpaper for people who put up wallpaper, getting them to align. Well, here what you got to do is when you put this on, you want to make sure this slope matches the slope of what's on the other piece. And again, part of the way you do that is I showed you earlier using measuring and squares by cutting. When you cut the vinyl, you can keep it square. And so what I was going to do is kind of show here I was going to move this over here. If I can, I think I can. Okay, let me move this over. Okay. It's not great. Let me push this back a little bit. See if I can make sure I get some light. That's a little better. Okay, that's better. Now what I want to do, again, you want to make sure the lines are both sloped at the same degree, and not only that, but you also want to ensure that in doing this they match up. And so the way you do it is with this, or the way I did it was with this device. And basically what I did, I just made sure, measuring from here, that the angle, that in other words, putting that here, I could push this up until I basically was running this angle was running actually parallel to these. So it looks like that is, let me see, get this all the way up here. And you're not going to be perfect because the vinyl itself, I noticed the lines kind of move a little bit, but this is close enough, I guess. Tighten that up. Now what we want to do, we've cut this material over here, pull this back to here, and what happens here, and I don't know if I'll try my best to show this. Okay. And then you want to make sure these lines, here, I'm going to do this real quick. See if I can get this off of here. And then let me go ahead and run this up. Okay, there we go. I think I about got this as good as it's going to get. Okay, let's see. I think we may have it. Okay. Well, you can take this, and this is cut off the roll, and I'm using the using a razor knife and using a square. I ensure that when I cut it, I did cut it where it's a 90 degrees angle to that piece. This is therefore square. I can show here, and I'll try to do my best. Then what happens is this right here shows that it's at the right dimension, right slope, so I know we're good. So now we know that. Then what we have to do, we mark on the side here we mark how much of an overlap of this, and then we lay this out here, and then that will then, when we glue, we'll do it. Now what we're going to do, we're only going to glue the outside and this side. So to basically to continue on what we're doing, let's go ahead and put some glue in here. Then I've already got some poured out here. I'm just going to pour it in, and then and it looks like, from what I can tell, you're going to have some left over buying a gallon, but I think you buy it. The options were typically like paint, a gallon in a quart. Well, the problem being is, in doing that, that you end up in a situation where you are going to be kind of, not required, that's not the right word, but you're going to end up being kind of locked in to buying that. The other thing I think I told you earlier was we're going to be using that for the corners and stuff. So you just basically lay this out, and then this right here, this roller here, you just roll it in just like you do paint. Okay, now we take, and I drew a line. What I've done, there is actually here, I drew a line on where I want to stop putting the glue. That line right there, and there's a reason, you'll see I don't want to try to glue both sides because it gets kind of problematic. And so I want to glue one side first, let that kind of settle down, and then I do the other. It's again kind of burdensome, but it's basically, I feel like, to get the best possible output. That's what I end up doing. Now what I'm doing here though is I'm doing it, applying this adhesive for the outside, where it goes on the outside, and then I will go and do the same thing on the inside. These are kind of really important to get these right, because if you get these right, it's a lot easier making everything, the quality of the insulation of the Tolex will make a big difference. Okay, now there we go. Oops. Okay, now go ahead. And what I'll do, I'll have to put some more every time I get glue on it. The paper, what I do is I just remove, I don't remove it, I just put another coat of it on there. Okay, and again, I want to stay approximately as close as I can to not going over that line. If you go over a little bit, it's not that big of a deal, but so what you end up doing. Okay, you notice there actually got a little glue on it. You also need to keep a wet rag to wipe off any excess glue, and keep that handy. So it's no big deal there. Okay, I think now I can get a little more there. A little, make sure we get plenty of adhesive. There we go. I think I'm pretty happy with the way this is coming. Now what you got to do here, remember I drew a line here, and that line is where the edge of this vinyl Tolex needs to go, and that will help form one half of the seam for the piece that goes on the outside. So anyway, and so now what I'll do, I want to go ahead, but I'm trying again not to put glue beyond where the edge of that Tolex needs to go, and I'm just using this roller to do it. Okay. Okay. And again, you see, I'm not worried about getting the glue. I'll wipe it off, but I just want to make sure I do get it to get a successful application. It is imperative that I do get this on here. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'll pull this over here, that way it's out of the way. And then here I'm going to make sure I get this all over here. And it's, okay. Now, remember I was telling you, you need to keep some of this paper handy. And then what I'll do, I'm going to come over here and I'll just cut me another piece, or I'll probably spring it all. And I'm going to put this, because there's no reason to even try to get that glue off. So all I need to do, with my knife, there we go. There you go. Then I'll just take this. I'm going to put this here. Pick this up. And then I'll just put this paper up under here. And again, the purpose of that is I'm just trying to keep things clean. Okay, now we got the adhesive. Now we'll wait. Because what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to wait until this glue turns clear. And it's the same here. Now I'm going to put this here. And I just noticed again. So I grab my rag and I wipe the glue off. There you go. Okay, so now we got this. I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera and I'll bring it back on when I get done with drying.